Hey, hey guys. It's been a hot minute since we made a One Piece video, hasn't it? Whew. Well, let's do something about that. So hey guys, it's been a bit since we've done a One Piece video, but if you guys have been talking to me on any other form of just social media, you guys might know that I've been feeling a little weird about how One Piece has been shaping up competitively, and so it's been taking a back seat. Now, however, I will say that as of OP07, I have my sponsorship set back up, so I will be able to get a case of OP07 and every set from henceforth, and that'll allow me to do a lot more content, some case breaks, attend some just tournaments that aren't too far away. And if the format ever shapes up to a point where I enjoy playing it competitively, grinding it, I'll definitely do so. But with that being said, I do want to put this video at 100 like goal. I want to make sure that we can get up there. And if you guys want to see me put out more One Piece content, please support this video, because that's going to show me that the content is still worth putting out. I think from here on out, until something changes or we get like a worldwide sync, I'm going to be just reporting on newer cards, newer decks, because I want to talk about stuff on the cutting edge. I don't want to really talk about things that have already been out and solved, like our formats, by the time they get to us. But last but not least, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I just wanted to say that if you want to join the Patreon, I don't know when's the next time I'm going to be writing competitive One Piece articles, but I can tell you that I will continue the product giveaway. And currently, I'm going to be picking 6 lucky winners to get these starter decks. I know some of these are pretty hard to find if you didn't get blessed on the Walmart and Target, and harder to find secondhand because of allocation. So if you guys want a chance to win this, just join the $5 tier or higher. We've got plenty of articles coming out for Dragon Ball Super Fusion World, and maybe in time we will touch on One Piece again on the Patreon. But for now, if you want to win some stuff, that's the way to do it. So let's hop into this. We're going to talk about OP08 King and some of its potential ramifications, because this leader looks nuts. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is actually going to be the leader himself, King. He's from OP08, of course, purple black leader, 4 life, 5,000 power, animal kingdom pirates, and I guess his attack type is special. Now his activate main effects is once per turn, Dom -2. If your hand is at 5 or less cards, draw a card, and then give up to one of your opponent's characters a -2 cost this turn. So the bottom effect, very, very easy to see. Most of these black leaders will lower something's cost to put it in range of being able to blow up. But then you have cards like this, where it's like if your hand is at 5 or less, or effects like this, 5 or less, draw a card, which is going to be great in the middle to late game, where your hand may not be the biggest, but you can keep it moving. And I do like that at its most simplistic level, there are going to be turns where you can put 2 cards underneath King, swing for 7, and then Dom -2 to draw a card. Now, there's a couple things that are cool about this, because being able to be purple in this particular format is good enough already. There's a lot of good purple cards that can go into a better theme once you have a leader that's better than, base set Kaido. But animal pirates as a trait and being purple and black is going to do a lot for this deck. So let's actually talk about that, because we've got 2 new cards to actually go over as well. The first being a Queen Searcher. Now this card is a 1-cost black, like Queen Searcher, 2,000 power, so standard stats, standard cost. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose a single animal pirates card except for Queen, add it to your hand, and put the remaining to the bottom of your library. Now, this is the big catcher, because like many cards in One Piece, it's simplistic. However, the implications of a card like this are wonderful. We now have a 1-cost searcher with combo that can search into Onigashima. And between this and another card we're going to talk about later, you have a total of 8 cards you can put in your deck that you can play on turn 1 that can potentially get you Onigashima to then play on turn 2 on curve. And as we all know, a purple deck that can play Onigashima on curve is generally a purple deck that's going to be in a very, very good position. So looking at that, you have this Queen, and of course, because it can't search for Queen, this Queen cannot search you for the 5-drop Queen from the starter deck, but this is still going to do a lot of cool things. And then we're going to look at the last new card that we have here. This is a black character, Jack, and this card costs 7. Animal Kingdom Pirates. This card has a +4 cost, so it's going to come out on the board and immediately become an 11 cost, which is going to put it out of range of quite a lot of cards that your opponent can use. And that's just like crazy in general. Your opponent could cruise on this and it'd still be a 7, meaning that you'd have to use other cards in order to get it down. So that's insurance on its own. Outside of cards that have no effect, no effect limit, like Red Rock or 10-drop Kaido, which we'll get to later, this card's gonna be fairly safe. But the activate main says you may rest this card, draw 1 card, and trash 1 card from your hand, then KO up to one of your opponent's cost 3 or lower characters. Considering that your leader is able to just automatically make a 5 cost, or make reduce something by 2, this means that you could take a 5 cost down to a 3 cost and pop it. Things like Great Eruption, which are cards that you can run in this deck, are cards you can also just use to bring things down. You could use Great Eruption, bring something down by 2, Leader Effect, bring something down by 2 more, and then use this, and you can take down a 7 cost by tapping the 7 cost. So I think that this is actually pretty cool. Its innate protection as well as its destruction does a lot here. Now we're going to start talking about some of the implications I was talking about. Onigashima is always a good card. It's just a matter of not being able to search it out until OP08 or OP07 with the card we're going to talk about next. But now that you have that card and this queen, you're going to be able to pick this card up very often. If you don't open with it, you should be able to search it fairly easily, giving you a lot of chances to be able to play Onigashima out on curve. Now Onigashima is great because anytime you Dawn -2 with your leader, you can just gain 1 of them back immediately. And with other cards we're going to talk about as well, this is going to make it even stronger. So Onigashima is just, again, a powerhouse, and this is not going to change when we're able to use it with this leader. Now the other card I was going to talk about is a card from OP07. It is an event card, but it's called We're Going to Claim the One Piece. And we're going to claim the One Piece as main. If your leader has Animal Kingdom Pirates or Big Mom Pirates type, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Animal Kingdom Pirates or Big Mom Pirates type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. What this is going to allow you to do is, once again, find Onigashima as well as your other Big Mom Pirates cards if you want to play them, because they do share a color, with this set having a yellow-purple pudding. So you will have some Big Mom Pirates being printed in purple that you can search, but you'll also have your Animal Kingdom. So both of these decks are potentially going to be able to lean on each other in a big way, and it's going to be huge. But between this card and the 1-drop, you do technically have a maximum of 8 cards that you can play to help you find your curve for Onigashima, meaning that Onigashima should always be on the menu. That's a big part of this deck. Now, of course, gaining purple as a color, or having purple as a color, means you have access to a bunch of good 5-drops. Some of them being 5-drop Queen from the starter deck, which is the quintessential purple card that you're going to -1 Dawn, draw 2, discard 1. That's good. That's always good. And being an Animal Kingdom Pirates, there will be some synergy, but you can't search it off the Queen Searcher. That's cool. You can still search it off of We're Going to Claim the One Piece. That's fine. Although, not saying it's too slow, but this may be a card that's not doing quite enough. I mean, drawing 2 is great, but we shall see the speed of this deck. We may get a power crept version, who knows. But then you also have cards like Eustace Captain Kidd. And Eustace Captain Kidd plus Onigashima is going to be an integral part of this deck, because when you have this Eustace Captain Kidd blocker on board and Onigashima, your leader effect is free. You will pay for your cards, you will activate your leader effect, Kidd will instantaneously get you one of those Dawn back, and then you tap Onigashima and you get the other Dawn back. And you were sitting exactly at the Dawn you were, and using your minus Dawn effects with no repercussions is insanely strong. So this is going to be a very good card if it can stick on the board. 5 cost is not exactly the highest cost you can have. There's a lot of cards that'll smoke this pretty quickly, or 2 card combos that'll annihilate this card immediately. But this is a pretty cool card to have when you think of King's ability. Now, of course, having access to black on the flip side gives you a slew of cards. The black package has been dominant for quite some time now. Between Rebecca's, between Hina's, you have Helmeppos, you have Rabluchis, you have, moving on to here, the Gecko Morias, and then with that, you have plenty of other cards like Absalom and whatnot. There are so many cards that are just really strong in the black color. It arguably may be the game's best color right now, it and yellow. So gaining that, you have a lot of stuff you can do here. But while we're on this topic, one of the main reasons why I am not really vibing this format is I think Gecko Mori is too strong of a card. I think being able to tap 8 and gain a total of 14 Dawn that turn, but then still having 2 Dawn left over to play something else, when you play Gecko Moria, you essentially have a top end of 16 Dawn in 1 turn. And I think that is just a little too much, personally. However, when it comes to this, Gecko Moria, whether you are pairing it with Rebecca or not, has the potential to get you entire boards just based off of 8 Dawn being played. However, what we have not had in quite some time is a viable purple Animal Kingdom Pirates leader, because that will come with the ability to play 10-drop Kaido, a card that has no cost restriction. You just -6 Dawn and blow up everything. Mind you, playing a card like this is not exactly the hardest to get around some of the effects. You blow up all of the characters on the board. You tap Onigashima. You go from your 4 Dawn to your 5 Dawn. The following turn, you're gaining 2, going back up to 7. At this point, Onigashima can take you up to 8. And then at this point, you can do things like play out another kid. Use your leader effect to draw a card, an already small hand perhaps at that point. Get a Dawn back. You're at, I think at that point, 7. And you'll be going up to 8 the following turn, and Onigashima will take you back up to 10. So having access to this Kaido, I think, is going to be a huge part, because a lot of people are playing monstrous free boards. And we'll talk about more combos later, because I already feel like Sanji and the Whitebeard and Marco is actually pretty funny. But with people coming out with boards coming out for free because of Gecko Moria, I think that 10-drop Kaido from set 1 can really be the equalizer that a lot of decks could have needed or will need in the future to really combat these things. Especially with more 2Ks than ever, more zero costs, that the zero cost extra cards or event cards that you can go up 3K. I think that you'll be able to defend yourself a lot easier after Kaido uses his effect, because realistically the only thing coming out after it is a bunch of things that can't swing, or maybe one good rusher. So I'm really digging the ability to play Kaido in this deck. It's been a long overdue time since we've been able to play a card like this. So with that being said, I do think that King is a card that we should look out for. I think that minusing 2 Dawn to -2 cost off of something is rather lackluster until we see the inevitable enabler that's going to be in purple this set. They won't give it to black, because black will be more the destruction color, I'm sure. Purple will have some sort of card that has a kid-like effect that refunds you Dawn when you use it. And that will be one of the biggest parts to see if this deck is going to be the deck that it needs to be. Because we're going to be able, it's already nuts on paper, but when we get a card that's a power crept kid, the deck is going to be even stupider. So I'm assuming that that's going to be something that we will see sooner than later with these spoilers coming out. And then, of course, we have to see what we're looking at in general. If there's a card that straight up says, like, when you have 5 or more less Dawn, then like, or whatever, like you have 5 or less Dawn or something like that, and this card only costs like 1, but it gains you a Dawn, we're gonna have some really cool things. They could do a ramp like that way it's good in the early game and it's good post Kaido. We will see, but One Piece doesn't really check itself on the power creep, so it's only a matter of time until we start seeing these really busted cards. But I'm expecting to see a strong ramp card or recovery ramp card coming out in purple. We still have to see what our other black cards will be. I'd be surprised if we didn't get a Kaido in this set as well, but it just seems like we're going to see Black Purple King be a monstrous deck, and I'm excited to see that myself. So let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of content, talking about the cards that are coming out, actually the newest cards in the game, and not just cards that we've had for a little bit, watching JP have, things like that. But I will get back to doing One Piece content. I'm just trying to find out how to keep it the most exciting for me, and in turn keep it the most exciting for you, because that's how I do it. If I'm passionate about it, I can really make some stuff that you guys will like. So let me know, and like I said, if you want more One Piece content on the channel, make sure you support this video. We'll talk about probably Marco or Pudding next. Save Chopper for another time. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. But guys, right before we end up tying up this video, I do want to give a couple shout outs. One, the sponsor of my card games, as Mystic TCG. You can go down to the link and use the UniX TCG code to have discounts off of any TCG needs that you might have. That's any of these big games. He sells them all. Eden, great guy. You'll probably see him vending at some event. You've also got G3 from Canada, which are my homeboys from Canada. They do an amazing amount of things. They top a lot of tournaments, and they are going hard as well on the tournament front store. So you got my US store, you got my Canada store, and then last but not least, I can't leave you guys out, even though I am updating my Patreon appreciation backsplash, but we got to talk about the realm of extras, the highest tier of my Patreon, the Big Daddy Flapjacks, the Beer R's, the the Bryces, almost said the full government name, the Kevin Eyes, and the Mr. Top Decks of the world. Thank you guys for giving me the extra push. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.